Today I will be demonstrating how to do a precipitation reaction and calculate the percent yield for the reaction. First, you're going to measure out 100 milliliters of distilled water. Put 100 milliliters of distilled water in each of the two jars. For this reaction, you'll be using MgSO4, also known as Epsom salt. You'll be using 6 grams of this. The other reactant is Na2CO3, also known as washing soda. For this one, you'll be using 3 grams. Together, they will form a precipitate. Measure out 6 grams of the MgSO4. Add the MgSO4 to one of your jars and mix it around until it is fully dissolved. Next, you're going to measure out 3 grams of your sodium carbonate. Take the sodium carbonate that you measured out and put it in your other jar and mix it around. Once the reactants are completely dissolved, add the two jars together and mix it around. This causes a white precipitate to form. Take the mass of the dry whey boat. Once you've recovered your precipitate, leave it out to dry and calculate the theoretical yield. To find the theoretical yield of the precipitate, first you need to start by constructing a balanced chemical equation. This chemical equation at the top is balanced. Then you take your reactants to find your limiting reagent. First, start with your 6 grams of MgSO4 that you used in the experiment. Divide by the molecular weight of MgSO4 and then multiply the stoichiometric ratio found in your balanced chemical equation. This gets you 0.020 moles of MgCO3 theoretically produced with 6 grams of MgSO4. Next, use the 3 grams of Na2CO3 that you used, divide by the molecular weight of Na2CO3, and multiply by the stoichiometric ratio found in your chemical equation. This gets you a theoretical yield of 0.030 moles of MgCO3 if 3 grams of Na2CO3 are used. Because the moles of MgCO3 is smaller, that means that is your limiting reagent. Take your 0.020 moles of MgCO3, multiply it by the molecular weight of MgCO3, and that gets you a theoretical yield of 2.0 grams of MgCO3 with this amount of reactants. Once your precipitate is completely dry, zero your scale, put your precipitate on, and record the mass. The last step is to determine the percent yield of the experiment. First, take your mass of the recovered solid plus the whey boat and subtract the mass of the whey boat. This gives you 1.7 grams of MgCO3 recovered. Take that number and divide it by the theoretical yield of MgCO3, multiply by 100, and this gets you an 85% yield.